Mira and Kemi had been inseparable since they were 7 years old, running barefoot through the dusty streets of Olope town. They shared everything: secrets, dreams, stolen mangoes from Mama Taiwo's tree. But their dreams couldn't have been more different. Mira wanted simple things: a small baking shop with yellow curtains, a husband who would hold her hand during evening walks, children's laughter filling a modest home. She spoke softly, smiled easily, and believed that peace was the greatest wealth anyone could have. Kemi wanted more, much more. She devoured fashion magazines, memorized the names of luxury cars, and spent hours scrolling through images of marble mansions and crystal chandeliers. "I'm going to live in a house so big, Mira, that you'll get lost looking for the bathroom," she would say, laughing. But beneath the laughter was a hunger that never seemed satisfied. When they both got admitted to Port Asia University, Mira started a small food stand on campus. Nothing fancy, just jollof rice, plantain, and her grandmother's pepper sauce recipe. Students loved it. They loved her warmth even more. That's where Drayton first saw her. He was tall, well-dressed, the kind of man who turned heads without trying. His family owned half the commercial properties in Hillcrest Meadows, the wealthiest district in Port Asia. But what drew him to Mira wasn't her beauty. It was the way she laughed with the old janitor, the way she gave free meals to struggling students, the gentle kindness that radiated from her. "You have a beautiful spirit," Drayton told her one afternoon after buying his 3rd plate of rice that week. Mira blushed. "You're just saying that because you like my cooking." "I like everything about you." Kemi watched from across the courtyard, her smile frozen on her face. She was happy for Mira. Of course she was. They were best friends, sisters. But why couldn't a man like Drayton look at her that way? What did Mira have that she didn't? The relationship moved quickly. Within 6 months, Drayton proposed. The engagement ring sparkled so brightly that Kemi had to look away. "I can't believe this is happening," Mira whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I'm so blessed." "You deserve it," Kemi said, hugging her friend tightly. But inside, something dark and bitter was taking root. The wedding was everything Kemi had ever dreamed of, for herself. The venue was a 5-star hotel overlooking the ocean. There were ice sculptures, a live band, and flowers imported from abroad. Mira looked like a princess in her white gown, but all Kemi could think about was how that dress should have been hers. When Mira moved into Drayton's mansion in Hillcrest Meadows, Kemi visited often. She would run her fingers along the Italian leather sofas, admire the gold-framed mirrors, and imagine herself living there instead. Each visit fed her envy, but she kept smiling, kept pretending to be the supportive best friend. "This guest room is bigger than my entire apartment," Kemi joked during one visit. Mira laughed. "You're always welcome here, Kemi. This is your home too." But it wasn't, and that burned. What Kemi didn't see, what Mira hid behind designer sunglasses and long-sleeved dresses, was the nightmare unfolding behind those mansion walls. The first time Drayton hit her was 3 months after the wedding. Mira had suggested they visit her parents in Olope town, and he exploded. "You think you can just make decisions without asking me?" He shouted, his hand connecting with her cheek so hard she fell. Mira touched her face, stunned. "Drayton, You are my wife. You belong to me. You go nowhere unless I say so. She told herself it was a mistake. The pressure from work. He apologized, brought flowers, promised it would never happen again. But it did. Again and again. The bruises multiplied. The insults became daily rituals. She stopped eating, stopped sleeping, stopped recognizing herself in the mirror. When Kemi came by, Mira would laugh and say she was clumsy, that she'd bumped into a door, tripped on the stairs. Kemi never questioned it. She was too busy drowning in jealousy to notice her best friend was drowning in pain. One evening, after another fight that left Mira with a split lip, she sat alone in that massive house and realized the truth. She was living in a beautiful prison, and no one could hear her screaming. Meanwhile, Kemi's obsession had reached a breaking point. She couldn't sleep, couldn't focus. Every time she saw a photo of Mira and Drayton on social media, smiling in front of their mansion, rage consumed her. Why her? Kemi whispered to herself in her cramped studio apartment. What did she do to deserve all of that? I'm smarter. I'm prettier. I would have appreciated that life. The thought came slowly at first, then all at once. If Mira couldn't appreciate what she had, maybe someone else should have it. Kemi asked around quietly until she found what she was looking for. Baba Oruko, a spiritual guide who lived on the outskirts of Port Asia, near the banks of the Okun River. People whispered about him in hushed tones. He could solve any problem, they said. But his solutions came with prices. The old man's compound was hidden behind overgrown bushes. Inside, the air smelled of incense and herbs. Baba Oruko was ancient, his eyes clouded but somehow seeing everything. I know why you've come, he said before Kemi could speak. I need him to love me instead. I need Drayton to leave Mira and choose me. Baba Oruko studied her for a long moment. The binding cord is permanent. Once tied, it cannot be untied. His life will be bound to yours until death. Are you certain? I'm certain. Then it will be done. But remember, you cannot undo what you are about to do. Ever. Kemi nodded, ignoring the warning bells ringing in her mind. She paid him, watched as he mixed herbs, chanted words in a language she didn't understand, and sealed the charm in a small clay pot. That night, under a moonless sky, Baba Oruko took the pot to the Okun River and dropped it into the deepest part, where the current was the strongest. The water swallowed it whole. It is done, he said. May your gods have mercy on you. The change happened overnight. Mira woke up to find Drayton staring at her with pure hatred in his eyes. Get out, he said coldly. What? Drayton, what? I said get out. He grabbed her arm, dragged her to the door, and threw her suitcase after her. I don't want to see your face again. You disgust me. Mira stood on the mansion steps, trembling, confused, her heart shattered into pieces she didn't know how to pick up. She called Mira, sobbing. He threw me out. I don't understand. He hates me now. Kemi forced concern into her voice. Oh my God, Mira, I'm so sorry. Come stay with me. But Kemi wasn't sorry. She was triumphant. 2 days later, Drayton showed up at Kemi's apartment, his eyes wild with an obsession that made her skin crawl. I need you. I can't stop thinking about you. Move in with me, now." Kemi's heart raced. This was it? Everything she had ever wanted. "Drayton, are you sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything." Within a week, Kemi was living in the mansion. She walked through those rooms she'd envied for so long, touching everything with a sense of ownership. This was hers now, finally. But the dream lasted exactly 3 days. The first night, Drayton screamed at her for leaving a glass on the counter. The second night, he shoved her against the wall because dinner wasn't ready when he got home. The third night, he slapped her so hard her ear rang for hours. "You're worthless," he spat, just like she was, maybe worse. Kemi realized